Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. So it is 1 o'clock, so I think we're gonna get started in just a moment. And yeah, let's give it just a moment. And I'm going to be joined by the Royal Mail. So we're going to have Sarah and Mike and Alan as well. Let me just one sec. All right. Okay, welcome everyone to this session with the Royal Mail as part of National Intern Week 2. And I'm Eloise, I'm from CareerMap. And today we're going to be joined by Sarah, Alan and Mike from the Royal Mail. And they're going to be telling you all about intern opportunities at the Royal Mail and various work experience placements you might be able to get involved with. So it's a really exciting session and it will be recorded. So if you do need to drop out or anything, don't worry, it will be available on demand. And there will be lots of time for questions at the end. So if you have questions as we go through, definitely make a note of them. You can drop them in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it. But we will be answering them at the end. So there will be a bit of time for that, don't worry. And yeah, as always, if you have any technical issues or if you can't hear anyone, just pop it in the chat. I'll also keep an eye on that. And yeah, that is it. I think I'm going to hand over to Sarah to take you through the presentation. And yeah, really hope you enjoy this session.
Hello, is that working? Sorry, can I just double check? Can you hear me?
Yeah, all here.
Perfect, wonderful. Thank you very much. Right, so I'll just swap to our presentation. And that should be popping up for you now. Okay. So, so thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm from Royal Mail and we're here to talk about our internships as part of National Internship Week 2022. So as we've already said, you can pop questions in and we'll have a Q&A session at the end. But firstly, I'm Sarah Mcginley. I'm an early careers manager at Royal Mail. So within my team, we look after everything from apprenticeships to graduate schemes and internships as well. I'm also joined by colleagues Mike and Alan, who I'll introduce later on in the session, and they're here to talk to you about internships within their business areas and their experience as well. But firstly, I'll sort of start off with a little bit about Royal Mail and sort of our career opportunities and benefits and things like that as well. There is a QR code on this slide at the bottom of your screen that takes you to our early careers website as well if you want to have a nosy on there. I've also just posted the link in the chat too, so if you can't use the QR code for whatever reason, that's in there. And then we'll come on to the end as well around applications and how you can get in touch with us if you want to do an internship with us, but it will all be via that early.careers@royalmail.com email address that's at the bottom. So without further ado, we'll carry on. So Royal Mail, obviously, we are national. We are a national company and we very much operate at the heart of communities. So we want people on board who truly love what they do. So a little bit about Royal Mail Group. So we have two main companies. We have the sort of UK side of the business, which is the parcels, the international and the letters. So your Royal Mail posties that you'll see and Parcel Force as well. You might have seen the big Parcel Force lorries or they may have helped you when you've been shipping all of your stuff to uni too because they tend to deal in larger parcels and with larger goods. We also have the general logistics system side of the business, GLS, as well, which that operates more internationally, but they all make up Royal Mail Group. So there's just a few stats on this slide around us being the leading delivery company for the UK. We've handled what you'll see there is 1.7 billion parcels last year. So it's huge amounts that we do turn over on a daily basis. What we call our network, our feet on the street, because we're really proud. We're one of the only delivery companies to deal in letters. So we have our posties who no doubt you've already sort of seen or spoken to on a daily basis when they come and deliver your own parcels and letters too. And we're proud to have a really diverse and inclusive workforce as well. One of our main goals as an organisation is to be reflective of the communities we operate in, which again, obviously on a national basis, it comes right across the country. We are one of the largest, so we have lots and lots of career opportunities right across the business in probably any function that you could think of. And then a little bit onto our values. So we've been named a Times top 50 employers from 2014 to 2021. And we've also been proud to be a responsible employer with most of our colleagues on permanent contracts as well. And we're also a disability confident employer as well. So that we joined that in 2018 and we've had that status ever since. We're also a greener company, so we've got quite a lot of green goals. As I'm sure lots of organisations are, we're really conscious that we want to make sure that we're environmentally friendly as possible and doing what we can to minimise things like climate change and our carbon footprint. So I think if I move on, there's a couple of things on here that talks about our sort of greener agenda. We're very much focused on moving over to electrical vehicles now. We've done that immensely already, and we're looking to grow that further into 2023. We've moved to 100% renewable electricity across all of our buildings, you know, all of our local delivery offices and mail centres that you'll have around you. And again, that's an immense operation that we've done. We have one of the lowest carbon footprints per parcel in terms of any UK major delivery company, and we've also got a target of net zero by 2040, which is 10 years earlier than a lot of our competitors as well. And as I've said, our opportunities are national. We are a national business. We operate right down to the bottom of the UK and right up to the top in the Highlands of Scotland. So we have lots of opportunities for everyone right across the country. And then obviously I'm here to talk to you about internships today, but we do offer other work experience. We offer traineeships, graduate programs, apprenticeships and T-level placements as well. So probably just about every early careers program you could think of. So moving on to a little bit more on the internship space now. So what do our internships entail? So traditionally we haven't necessarily had what we would call sort of the same internships every year. It has been by business demand or by demand of people wanting to come to us as well. You'll hear from Alan, who's going to talk you through the engineering internship today, and you'll also hear from Mike, who's in the people transformation PSAP team, who'll give you a little bit more of a flavour of what they're doing there. But we're really interested in what you want to do and if you want to come and do an internship for us. So I'm going to talk about this in a little bit of a generalisation is what I'm trying to say. But all of our internships are a 12-month work placement in a business area of interest or related to an undergraduate degree of the candidate. And very much what you do in that internship will be down to the business, but you'll get a breadth of experience right across the teams and the functions that you're working in. And you won't just be sort of shadowing, although that will be a part of it at first, but you will be working to deliver and implement projects as well and supporting all of our business innovation too. You'll have the opportunity to understand and learn about the industry and the business in great depth, and you'll also have mentor and coaching support as well available to you, just to make sure that you're maximising your time with us and your development that you can gain whilst you're with us. There's 4.5 weeks annual leave plus paid bank holidays, and then there's a current salary offering of £20,000 as well. And you'll also have access to employee discounts, networks and many more benefits. I do have a slide at the very end that comes on to some of those in more detail, but we do have what we call My Bundle, which gives you high street discounts. So you might be used to sort of uni days and stuff like that, and it builds on that really. We have networks internally for pretty much everything really. We have diversity networks, we have the women's network, we have all sorts of different ones. We have one set up for the youth board and apprenticeships as well, which might be something that you'd be interested in. And we also have a people panel as well, which is an opportunity for employees, interns, apprentices, anybody in the organisation to feed into sort of strategy employee benefits and all those going forward. So we've got a range of things that you can be involved in there too. So I'm going to hand over to Mike from the PSAP team in People Transformation. Mike's recently taken on an intern, and he's just going to talk you through their programme really, and what they're offering.
Thanks, Sarah. Afternoon to everyone. It's lovely to be invited to the call and great to speak to you all. As Sarah said, I'm Mike Hitchens. I head up Royal Mail's RPA, Robotics Process Automation Centre of Excellence. I'll give you a bit about what we do as a team themselves, and placement opportunities, intern opportunities. Before I start, just a quick bit of background to myself. So, yeah, I've been in Royal Mail for 20 odd years now, so quite a while. I actually joined as a grad. So I joined on an accountancy programme, and to be fair, I found Royal Mail as an employer a fantastic employer for me. It's provided loads of opportunities. So like I said, I joined as a finance grad, so as part of that I did my chartered accountancy over 3 years. Subsequent to that, I've had training as a business analyst. I did an MBA. I have done Lean Six Sigma black belt training. I've done, surprisingly, not too distant ago, an apprentice in project management, so as part of the national body for that, and I'm just about to do a level 6 apprentice in sort of systems thinking. So throughout the time, I think Royal Mail has always invested heavily in development, and in terms of taking things forward, and that's been my experience, and that's one of the reasons, I guess, why I've stayed with it. In terms of my role, like I said, I head up our Robotics Centre of Excellence. So it's a reasonably new team. It started in 2017, initially just to prove or disprove the benefits that Royal Mail could get from RPA and low code, and then subsequent to that, work with colleagues across the business to deliver value for the company using process simplification and automation techniques. In terms of automation, we predominantly focus on low code, so RPA, Power Apps, things like that, mixed with Python. So we're looking at sort of quick solutions to deliver business value. Typically, it takes us 8 to 12 weeks from start to finish to actually deploy a solution, from working with people to identify it to actually delivery. We've delivered over 100 solutions in that time, ranging from 100K in terms of value up to 10 million. And across the sort of time we've been running, so just under 5 years, we've created 60 million pounds value per annum, or it's now sort of a running rate for the company. So it's quite successful. Like I said, at the start of it, we were also looking to prove the value of that. I think we've done that, and we're continually looking to grow that capability in terms of our own ability and that of the organisation. In terms of the team itself, it's mainly made up of developers and process analysts that work to me. And in terms of student opportunities or placement opportunities, they exist in both those areas, really. So I have at the moment a Royal Mail grad in the team who's doing a 6-month placement, an apprentice who's with us for 2 years as a developer, and Gus, who's from Sheffield University, who's on a 1-year placement as a developer. But we're also looking at sort of T-level opportunities as well. So for me, it's really important to get a sort of a good mix of people and keep ideas fresh in the team, which is why I love having sort of like yourself and students in there, because you bring a sort of a different outlook on things and different ideas, which is important for me. In terms of, like I said, the placements themselves, the interns themselves, like I said, it could be in either development or on the process and side of it. At the moment, Gus the intern is working on development. But so what that entails really is it's an integral part of the team. So it's not a sort of Mickey Mouse role that's just here to make tape, do photocopying. So we will spend 3 months delivering training. So in terms of development, in terms of training someone up to be a sort of an RPA developer to start with. And that involves undertaking a sort of a series of training interventions. We use UiPath, who's our main provider. You don't have to worry about that, but they have a sort of training program where the developers go through in terms of both the foundation and the advanced training for that. So at the end of those 3 months, with very little knowledge in terms of RPA development, someone should be able to be reasonably competent in terms of RPA development. And then assign a mentor to work with that individual over the remaining 9 months to actually apply those skills in the workplace. Like I said, it's not a Mickey Mouse sort of role at all. I expect everyone in the team, including the sort of apprentices or interns, to actually deliver the same sort of opportunities that our developers do. So in that time, I guess the interns would typically deliver 2 to 3 opportunities. That's working with the business to actually identify the opportunity in the first place, document that, do the process and technical design, build and test, deploy that into production, and then support that for sort of a period of time in ELS to ensure that it's bedded in. So within the sort of the duration of the internship, like I said, you get sort of the training experience, but also from a sort of personal experience and CV point of view, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that people would walk out with a sort of be able to demonstrate that they have identified and delivered a business opportunity, and as I say, to the tune of sort of 100k, anywhere up to 10 million, which to me would look good on someone's CV. On the process center side, it's a similar sort of thing. Rather than using development techniques, it's using sort of Lean Six Sigma and agile techniques with change management. So rather than being trained as a developer, the training focuses on those sort of process improvement techniques and then applying those techniques in the workplace to deliver value. As well as that sort of training side of things, like I said, the social side and the team side of things is equally important to me. Key skills that I look to sort of engender in the team, collaborative working across the team and with our colleagues is crucial. Encouraging innovation and creativity. So although I'm talking about we use a sort of RPA software, I am totally open to people coming in with their own ideas in terms of how other techniques can be applied, whether it's Power, Python, any sort of software development as well. And anyone in the team, from new starters right through to most experienced, are totally open to raising ideas, pushing those through and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say we're like Google with basketball courts and stuff like that, but it's quite a dynamic team in terms of how we work together and work with the business to actually deliver value from that side. So not necessarily totally unique in Romeo, but actually I'd like to think that we're sort of more cutting edge in some of the more traditional areas. And then from the social side of things as well, like I said, the team element is just as important. So there's opportunity for people to work remotely, but at the same time, we will get together at least once a month in terms of the social side of things, team building side of things, because to me that's as important in terms of adding value as well. So I think that's a snapshot through it. Like I said, from an experience point of view, I think it's a great opportunity for yourselves or apprentices or anything like that to actually come in with limited experience. The most important thing is a keen interest, although experience is helpful. We will train people up from scratch and then give them the opportunity and the support to actually deliver real business value in the skill they're working with, so that at the end of that time, you're going away with demonstrable experience where you can demonstrate that you've added value, cradle to grave, which should be applicable in any sort of walk of life outside of it, but certainly in the sort of software industry. No. If that's what I was going to say. No, I hope that helps. I can answer any questions, or I'm sure our emails will be put up as well at the end of it. So if people have questions or want to ask anything, then please feel free to contact me. Other than that, I'll hand you back to Sarah and then Alan, who will talk about engineering, another exciting area.
Great, thank you very much, Mike. And yeah, I'll hand straight over to you if that's okay, Alan.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Mike. So my name's Alan Harrison. I'm part of the engineering team here in Royal Mail, currently heading up the innovation department. But I guess you could be forgiven for thinking, what has engineering got to do with Royal Mail? You know, we are more than pillar boxes in postman pads, for sure. Because I don't know if you realise that, but most of the letters that get posted each day are processed through automated letter sorting machines. These are highly complex machines that can sort up to 55,000 letters per hour. They've got to cull out different sizes. They've got to do optical character recognition. You've got all of the data that needs to be collected off of the item. So there's a whole technical sort of array of equipment behind the scenes, which not everybody realizes. So engineering does play a huge part in the successful running of Royal Mail. Now, I think over the time, because we have been going for 500 years, I think we've actually become experts in that automated letter sorting. But things are changing, so letters are in decline, unfortunately. So we've now got a different challenge, and that is parcel traffic. So parcels are increasing. So we are moving now from a business that, a letters business that did parcels, to more of a parcels business that does letters as a sideline, so to speak. So I think we've got to change. So going forward, automation and innovation are key. So the sort of disciplines that we are going to need in Royal Mail. We've got a lot of these already, but we need to expand on them. So we've got a lot of mechanical handling equipment, PLC logic control, dimension weigh and scan technology, optical character recognition, and all of the computerized control systems that we collect data and coordinate things as items move through the pipeline. So what we're looking to do is to develop these skills further, with the main focus on the parcels handling, as I said. So we're looking to develop some robotic applications. So this is in addition to the software robotics that Mike was talking about earlier. These are physical robots that actually pick up and do things with parcels and containers. So that's really interesting. We've got automated guided vehicles, or autonomous mobile robots. Again, this is looking at automating the movement of our wheeled containers around our buildings. So that's quite a challenge in itself, because the buildings are quite big. Then we've also got the way we handle sort of parcels between systems. So we've got conveyor systems, and then they've got to be connected to the automatic sorters. And in fact, it's automated mechanical handling in general that we need to develop further. And if we can, we would like to sort of look more towards computer simulation and the augmented reality, because we want to look to that sort of thing to leverage that 21st century technology to make us more efficient. And that's where you guys come in, really. With your skills and expertise that you're picking up through your degree, we want you to bring those into the workplace with us and help us shape that future going forward. So just some example of projects that we've had in the last year, because I forgot to mention, we do have 6 interns with us currently. This is our 3rd cohort. So I think we've had 2 really successful years, and this year is looking out to be better than the last. So I think we are learning as we go, and I think certainly talking to all of the previous interns, they've really enjoyed the experience. But we've been redesigning some letter parcel delivery frames. We've been developing some robotic parcel singulator, which which is a big robot that picks up parcels from a pile and puts them into a line one by one. We're also looking at a linear parcel singulator. So we're trying to see if we can actually convert this pile of parcels into a separated stream of parcels such that we can then scan and sort them properly. We're looking to redesign, or in the process of redesigning, our parcel roll container, and also a lifting device to lift this container up. And we also, last year, one of the projects was a solar powered parcel postbox label dispenser. So all of the interns really got stuck into this, and they really enjoyed it. So I think you can hopefully see through that sort of list of projects that the skills that we're looking are quite diverse. So we're not going to pigeonhole anybody here. All of the interns really get stuck in and work with us here at the innovation team. So not to say that we're going to be doing those things next year if any of you guys join us, but I'm sure we'll have something of equally of interest, if not more. So what's it like to work with us? Well, we are part of a centralized engineering team based in Swindon, which is the home of the Magic Roundabout. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it's quite a famous roundabout, which has got 5 roundabouts all making up one big one. We've got some really good facilities here. We're next to the Swindon Mail Centre, so we've got a good restaurant, tea bar, personal desk space. There's a really good atmosphere. Everybody's friendly and helpful. But plus you will be assigned mentors and line managers throughout your stay. We do try and have fun while we're here. So as Mike was saying, we do have quite a bit of social outside of work to get together and go to some of the local bars and restaurants, as well as organizing other activities like go-karting and stuff, just to break up your stay with us. So hopefully that's just giving you a very sort of brief flavor of what engineering is about, how important it is, and actually how important it is that we need your guys' help to make us sort of fit for the next 500 years. So we can go through any questions you've got at the end, but for now, hand back to Sarah.
Wonderful, thank you very much, Alan. So just quickly then, before we move on to the Q&A, I've just got a couple of last slides. This one sort of reiterates what we've already spoke about, but it's just reminding you of some of the benefits, the mentoring and coaching support, which was mentioned by Mike and Alan. We do a lot around health and well-being, so we have our Feeling First Class support and well-being support in place. We do a lot of charity partnerships as well, so there's opportunities for you if you're doing something outside of work that's close to sort of your heart or whatever you're doing for charities. There's opportunities for Romeo to support you in that as well. We've already mentioned that we're innovating and we're using some cutting edge technology, and it is quite an exciting time to look to join Royal Mail, really, because we're doing such a large transformation to become more parcels focused due to the letter decline which Alan mentioned. So then I'll just move on to the last slide. So I've seen a couple of questions around how do I apply for an internship, etc. So we've obviously taken interns in engineering for the past 3 years, and one in Mike's team, which is very new. And we've also got some stakeholders in other areas of the business that are interested in starting internships next year. So to best handle that, what we're asking you to do is that if you are interested in joining us via an internship, to email us at the early.careers@royalmail.com, and that will either be picked up by me or a member of the team. And what we'll do is we'll almost add you to like a wait list, so that when we know those internship opportunities that you're interested in are going out, we will email you directly. So if you can provide us with the best contact email address, where you're currently completing your degree, what your subject is in and your area of interest for an internship. So whether that is engineering, accounting, finance, ops management, any of those sorts of areas, we'll have that noted. And, you know, if you've got more than one area as well, please do let us know, because we can make sure that you're aware of all of the opportunities as they crop up throughout the next year as well. Okay, so that's it from us. I think we'll hand back and we'll go over some of your questions now in the Q&A, but just to say, really appreciate your time as we've gone through that presentation, and I hope it's been informative.
Thank you so much, Sarah. For me, that was really interesting. I love learning about all the different parts of the business, and sounds really exciting. And we have a lot of questions. So I think some of these have already been answered, so I'm just going to go through from the bottom really quickly. On the type of internships you offer, I think that was kind of at the beginning with that slide that you had all the different types. So probably best to check the recording, go back to that. If you have more questions, you can always, there's the email at the end if you want to ask something specific. All right, how long do people generally spend working at Royal Mail? 15 years or 1 year? Those are two extremes offered in the question. But what's kind of the career path like? Do people come in? I know, Mike and Alan, you were saying like you have a long career at Royal Mail. Is that typical?
So I joined on the finance grad program nearly 25 years ago now. In terms of career path, I stayed on sort of transformation, that side of things. So I head up RPA, COE. I guess the most successful one at the same time when I joined, so on my cohort, was Mick Jevons. And I know Mick really well, but Mick is our group financial director. So I guess he's right at the top of the organisation. So I would say, you know, the opportunities are there to stay as long as you feel it's adding value and you're adding value to the company, and you can sort of find a level that suits you from, you know, senior management right up to the very sort of top board level.
Yeah, no, I would agree with Mike that Royal Mail does offer huge amounts of opportunities once you you know, get in the company. So I joined as an apprentice many years ago, sort of 40 years ago, and whilst I've been in the company, you know, that long, I've had various jobs within the company over that time. So you've certainly got the opportunity to get promotion in certain areas, or even sort of try different areas of the business as you experience them. So yeah, career progression is very sort of the opportunity is there to progress your career if you put your mind to it. So yeah.
And this is kind of a related question, I guess. Maybe this is something Sarah could answer about whether you can get a qualification from the internship, or whether there's anything that you come out of. Someone also asked, do you get a job after your internship? So what is the kind of transitional process from like an internship going into a role, and yeah, what kind of qualifications, if any?
Okay, yeah, no, absolutely. So we don't guarantee a role at sort of the end of your internship or at the end of uni. However, what I would say is that obviously you'll get more information from the respective business area that you work in about what their pipeline is and what their sort of vacancies will be at the time. And we would always give you the tools that you need and encourage you to sort of look on our vacancies website and keep them in. Obviously, if you've done an internship with us and then you apply for a job later on, that will absolutely be flagged up to the correct teams as well, so that know that you've had that work experience with us. So it's not that we sort of just do an internship, let you go, and that sort of is what it is. You'll absolutely be given the guidance and tools you need if you want to then come and join us once you finish your degree and sort of loop back round into a permanent role. On the other side of that, with qualifications, you've stumped me a little bit. I don't think we've formally offered a qualification in an internship at the moment. However, that is something that I'll take back to sort of get a view on, because I'm not sure what the inclination would be alongside your degrees, etc. What we can do is that you'll have access to all of our sort of internal learning platforms. We have something set up called the Academy, which is a new Royal Mail initiative, and that we use that for varying upskilling tools in terms of, you know, even if it's something as simple as Excel or a piece of software, or something that you want to upskill in terms of management and leadership or data. There's loads of things on there that you will be able to have access to while you're working with us.
I think it also depends on the area, I think, Sarah, because like if I just took mine, the two areas in terms of development or process analyst, the developers themselves will do, okay, it's not a academic qualification like a MSc or stuff like that, but they will come out with an industry sort of recognised sort of qualification in terms of RPA development on the process side of things. The training they get is sort of up to, I'd say, crazy black belt level in terms of process improvement and agile. And the experience, and for ourselves, it's the same for Alan as well. The experience that someone gets at the end of that year should enable them to sort of walk into a sort of, in terms of this market, it's very competitive at the moment in terms of RPA developers, typically around 50 to 60,000. I would expect that the people that have gone through the apprenticeship or the internship to be able to sort of apply for those sorts of roles and be competitive at interview in terms of the experience that they've got as well. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the qualifications coming out of an internship is so important, but I think the life skills that you learn during that year, certainly the last two cohorts of 6 interns each, that's the thing that they got out most out of the internship is growing their confidence in a business environment, which is completely different to just studying at a university. So all of that sets them up well for any further interviews in further jobs that they apply for. So something which a qualification on its own can't give you.
Definitely. And this, I guess, is a related question maybe to the academy and the training stuff that you are offering as well. Someone asked, what kind of support do you offer? And maybe this is also a question about mentorships, or how do you work with your apprentices within your team? Like, what kind of assistance or support or guidance are they getting? Is there like a mentor program or something like that?
Well, certainly in the engineering innovation team, they would have a line manager, and they would work with those managers on a daily basis, pretty much. But we also offer mentors where they can talk to sort of independent people who have gone through something similar to what they're going through. So yeah, I think we like to think that we give them the whole package.
So similar for ourselves, at the start of it, depending on what role it is, but if it's the development side of things, Sam Mays, our solutions architect, provides sort of the hands-on training for the first 3 months to ensure that people have got the skills to be competent developers, and then assigned to an existing developer to sort of support and mentor the individual through that period. Like I said, we haven't just got interns, we've got an intern, a grad and an apprentice, and then broader than that, we've got a community of citizen developers, so people who've been training up in the business unit as well, so they very much act as a community themselves to support each other. So there's the formal side of things in terms of training, the mentoring in terms of guiding people through the practical application of that in terms of delivering product, and then the sort of wider community in terms of people, not necessarily interns, but I said interns, apprentices, level, where people are learning new stuff can actually get together and sort of share ideas as well. So hopefully it's comprehensive. It seems to work well. And there's a breadth of things into, like I said, it's not just interns, but people with different experiences to bring to share and learn from.
Thank you. This is a good question, I think. What kind of qualities are you looking for in your interns? Like, what makes a real great Royal Mail intern?
Okay, again, so from an engineering perspective, we want somebody who's inquisitive, always looking how things work and coming up with new ideas. So as well as the theoretical side, somebody who's not frightened of having a go and of making mistakes, because obviously innovation, not everything works first time. but to, actually have a go, and also to have some fun. So, we want this isn't a a job where you have no fun. We want to have fun and learn, and whilst developing yourself, also develop something for the business. So yeah, hopefully that's understood.
I'd say the same. Like I say, I'm not necessarily looking for people who've got the technical skills to start with. We can grow those, but it's a sort of passion to learn and to push things forward, to learn, to help us learn, and not be afraid, like Alan said, to sort of try something, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. We just learn from that and kick on. So it's different for different people, but someone that's passionate about learning and making a difference will be the main things for me.
Great. And I'd also, say, going back to the beginning of the presentation, we had sort of that, it's not a quote, but we had the quote up that said that, we want people to love what they do. And that might, you might not necessarily think, oh, I've got this defined career path that I want to do, but you might be passionate about people, which is great because we are very much a people's business, obviously from our posters on the ground, going out to home addresses every day, right through to how we get on with our colleagues internally. People are what make Romeo too. So all of those sorts of things, like you said, passionate for learning, someone who, we're not looking for those ready skills, ready to go. We're looking for your potential, your motivation to sort of get out of bed and come and join us in the morning and to learn as well. So
yeah, and one thing that really struck me from your presentation was the idea of like the business developing so much over the next 500 years, like you said, and that real opportunity that people have now to come into the business and help shape that into the future. So it's really exciting. People who are ready for like innovation, something new and fresh. Yeah. Cool. So we have a question that is, how did you all start your career at Royal Mail? So this is kind of linked, I think, and maybe you could tell us what made you passionate about joining Royal Mail, or what was it at the beginning that really interested you about the business?
I think I've said I joined as I actually left school at 16 and went back to uni on an adult scheme. But yeah, I joined when I was 23 on the finance grad scheme. It's called the Corporate Accounting Training Scheme at the time. I had considered doing chartered in practice, and I was at a careers fair and was talking to Royal Mail at the time. What impressed me with Royal Mail was that it was very much about learning those skills, supporting through the skills, and applying them in a sort of business context. So that's why I joined Royal Mail rather than just going straight to practice, so I could get to the same sort of qualification but get that industry bent on that. I stayed with Royal Mail really because as I went through, and I suppose Alan has said, it's given me such a variety of experiences and skills. So like I said, I joined on finance, but I ended up as a placement on systems, enjoyed that, got trained up as a systems and business analyst. One of the change managers went on leave. I had a chance to do that and spent a couple of years being a change manager. From that, I went into project management. From that, I got the chance to do sort of Lean Six Sigma when Royal Mail went on a transformation program. So there's I like that sort of transformation element. I think it's like Sarah said, in terms of working with people, making a difference. The sort of discipline itself in terms of technology or people doesn't really make a matter. And Royal Mail's always given me that opportunity to learn myself, apply it, and feel that I'm adding value, but also getting something out of it. So that's how I joined, and that's why I've stayed really. And I think the stuff we do is cutting edge. I mean, the stuff we're doing in terms of RPA and stuff like that, we regularly win awards in terms of what we've achieved. And from Alan, I'm sure from what he's been saying, again, it's at the cutting edge of some of the industrial robotics.
No, I agree with a lot of what you said there, Mike. I mean, to be honest, I did stumble into Royal Mail when I first joined back in 1979. I started doing some A-levels with a view to go on to university, but halfway through I thought, do you know what, I fancy getting a job, so I applied for an apprenticeship with Royal Mail Engineering, which I got, and I have to say I haven't looked back. you know, the experience I had in the early days was really hands-on, good practical stuff. They taught me all of the electrical skills I need, heating, plumbing, lift maintenance, all of those, you know, technical skills which you can really get hands-on. And then as you sort of get used to that, you look within the company for other opportunities. And you know, I went onto the National Help Desk. I studied Unix in night school, and then I got a job on the National Help Desk supporting all of the systems throughout the country. Then went into project management, then into contract management, into development. So once you're in, you can see these other jobs, you know, going on around the company, and the company gives you that ability and confidence to actually, you know, apply and have a go. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that speaks for itself, the fact that I've been here so long and still enjoying it.
And I joined the business 5 years ago on an apprenticeship, so I'm a little bit more of a recent joiner in comparison to quite a few people in the business. But no, what I say is I'd echo what you've both said there. You know, for me, in 5 years, what I have learned just from speaking with other people who've been in the business for so much longer, you know, you really understand the breadth of roles that people can do. And I think seeing the knowledge and skills that people have acquired across Royal Mail is amazing in the time that they've been to, because there is just endless opportunities once you're in. I initially joined again because of the people. When I went for my interview, just listening to sort of my prospective manager and the team and what they'd already delivered in such a short time in their own roles in Royal Mail quite astounded me. And you know, with all of there's always innovation going on at Royal Mail. Obviously, like we've already said, we're moving towards being more of a parcels-led business than a letters-led business. Don't underestimate when we say that. That is a massive transformation for an organisation such as Royal Mail. And it crops up so many exciting projects no matter what area of the business you're in. So I think, you know, it's a really exciting time. And as you said, Alan, once you're in the business, you sort of only really start to understand the breadth and what you can do as well. You know, and with the right support in place and you coming in and being motivated to do it, you can almost go anywhere.
I think as well, and it's like I'm saying, but you don't realise what you actually achieve when you're in a big company in some ways. I mean, my sister's in occupational health, but actually Royal Mail is viewed in occupational health in terms of one of the leading sort of providers in terms of occupational health in the country, if not in Europe. And there's a lot of things like that, which I guess because of the scale of the organisation and the total reliance on people, but also technology and machinery, we have to invest a lot in that, or sort of make the most of it. And there are so many opportunities when I look back or look around in terms of whatever your sort of walk of life or your interest, because of the scale of it, there's always something to sort of challenge you and learn and stuff like that. And it's at a cutting edge level as well.
Cool. There are quite a few technical questions in here, which I think if you have a really specific question, I know a few of you are messaging about where you are in your degrees and like how many hours a week and things like that. I think those are probably best sent directly to Royal Mail, just so you can check your fit with the opportunities that they have. But one question that does keep coming up is locations. So are all the interns like split around the business, or you mentioned Swindon, I think is maybe somewhere where a lot of interns end up, or where do people...
Yes, certainly for the innovation team, the innovation centre is at Swindon. So each intern would be expected to attend the innovation centre pretty much every day. There are opportunities to travel around the country depending upon the projects that you're on, but your home location would be the Swindon Innovation Centre for the year. So most interns sort of rent in the local area, which has got quite a good nightlife and so on. So you know, they're quite happy from that perspective. A couple have stayed, for example, in Bristol, you know, where they're their parents are or where they're based, and they would travel each day. But yeah, certainly the expectation for the engineering team is that you would be at Swindon every day.
For ourselves, I mean, it is like, so we're based in Chesterfield, so just outside Sheffield. As a team, and I suppose COVID's been part to this, I guess as students as well, you've had to do it there. During that time, people have worked from home. We've continued that because it works well. So people on the team work from home, they live up and down the country. We do get together at least once a month just to sort of keep that team continuity. The only sort of exception I make to that really is sort of new entrants, and I guess I'd include interns on that, is that for the first 2 or 3 months, I think it's important to be on site with somebody. So yeah, with Sam at the moment, in terms of getting that learning and feeling part of a team, I think to do that remotely is quite difficult. But once that's there, again, would expect people, as they want to, they can work from home to a degree, or they can sort of go into one of the different sites up and down the country. So I've got people in Manchester, London, places like that. And I guess you're saying that there's a lot of different opportunities for interns, and that would be, you know, depending on where those roles are. But that's how it works for us. And it's slightly different.
There's a wide variety, so definitely get in touch if there is somewhere in particular that you are based or that you're thinking of working. I wonder, Sarah, if you could take us through the process after they do their application and email you. People are asking about interviews. How competitive is the process? How many applications do you get compared to who you take on? And do you have to do any application tests or centres and stuff like that? Or is it just an interview and then see where you fit after that?
Yes, so it can very much vary by business area. So what we've done traditionally is we've partnered with universities sort of in the areas that we would be looking to recruit our interns. Now, that might be why you've never seen sort of an ad for an internship before. And I guess that's why we've sort of, if I just go back to the last slide, asked that if you're interested in working in Romeo and doing an internship in any particular area, that you do let us know, because then we can obviously go back to the business with that and say, look, we're getting loads of requests for this, and work to that, really, because we obviously, if you're passionate, we want you. But no, absolutely. So it varies by university and it varies by program. Now, I'm not sure, Alan, whether you could talk about a bit more about how the engineers do it. We used to do assessment centres, however, I believe we do more of an interview basis now.
Yeah, so for the 6 interns that we've taken on each year, it's just been a shortlisting exercise through the CV and application. After the shortlist, we have a round of interviews, and then we offer the internship to the successful applicants. Then there will be a waiting list, for those that didn't quite make it, but it's given that we can only take 6 on. So if we get 10 which are all suitable, then 6 would get offered and the others would be putting on a waiting list. But there's no tests at all. It's just purely the shortlisting and then the interview.
And I think, again, sorry, going back to some of the qualities that we put on earlier, from thinking about from a CV perspective, think about some of those that we put on, because obviously we want to just see that you've got a passion for the business, that you've got a passion for what you want to do on your internship, you've got the motivation, and that you're really interested as well. So just making sure that comes across to us. And Mike, and I think we partnered with the University of August, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, a couple like that, yeah. We sort of partnered with Sheffield, or we got it from Sheffield, but it could have been locally. But I'm quite open, really, in terms of where it is for those. I think, like you said, so it's knowing where people are interested in, and then there's enough scope across the business to find roles that suit that for ourselves. Like I said, we're sort of northern based, but I've got people working up and down the country, so it's just making sure that when someone joins, that they're given the right support to learn. I'd be a bit reluctant to do that remotely, because I don't personally think that provides the right support. But once someone's up to speed, then I'm more than comfortable for them to work from home or in the office or whatever suits them. And like we do have a slightly different assessment for our sort of permanent developers, but in terms of interns and apprentices, we're not expecting people to come in with sort of the technical skills, so there's no point assessing that. It's more the personal qualities and passion, desire to learn that we're looking for. And then the technical side, we will grow and help the individual grow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, so again, if you are interested, just email us, because then as well, you're putting your university or education provider on our radar, so that if we haven't already got a partnership in place with them, we can have a look at what we might be able to do, and then in turn notify you. And again, we'll know that you've attended this webinar, that you've had a look into the company, and that you do want to come work for us, and we can go from there.
Thank you. And just really quickly on a couple of age limit things, I think you already mentioned just email with your requirements, but would that be okay for people who have just got a predicted grade, and also postgrads who are kind of already finished uni, and also subjects? Can they come in with like English, history, as well as the engineering side as well?
So if I just speak for the engineering side, so there's no discrimination on age at all. So if you're a mature student, then you're more than happy to accept your application for consideration. In terms of the subjects you're studying, we are quite a hands-on team. We're looking for a technical type person. So our we would be looking for some more mechatronics type subjects that people are studying. So if you're studying English and history, then I'm not sure if you will be the right person to come and work in the engineering team.
But there could be opportunities elsewhere.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm just talking for the engineering team. Yeah.
I mean, still on our side, I said we've got the two different roles in terms of developer and process analyst. My experience is, in terms of developers in the industry, people that go into that line of work tend to have some sort of development experience, whether they've done it themselves outside of it or something where they've got a passion for development. They don't have to have done a computer sort of science degree or anything like that. On the process analyst side of things, it's much broader, so in the industry in general, I know people who have got degrees in anything, biology, history, politics, whatever, it's more that, passion and being inquisitive and being able to relate and all those sorts of things. So, within my team, there's both, and I guess as Sarah said, in terms of the opportunities across the business are probably quite large. So I'm sure, I won't speak for Sarah, but I'm sure there's a whole range of things we can accommodate in terms of degrees.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like we've like I say, we've got two quite technical areas on this call today, but we've had graduate opportunities in HR, in operations management, and definitely in those sorts of areas we've taken on people with an array of degree subjects, and if there was the demand, we might have a look at internships there as well. There's no upper sort of age limit across any of our internships across the business. As Alan said, we welcome applications from anyone of any age. We've also in the past taken on students at MSc and postgraduate level. I think I saw a question about that as well. That's just again on a little bit more of an ad hoc basis when we've been approached and had a look if there's an opportunity for you. So again, the best thing to do is to email in. We can get back to you and say, we've noted this down, we'll be in touch when there's something available, and just keep you abreast of those opportunities. But if we have sight of you, then that means that we can go and action that in the business and see if there's an opportunity there.
Yeah. I mean, for us, I find it interesting too. It's really healthy to have a diverse team experience, although it's sort of a technical team, to have that mix, because we're trying to foster creativity and innovation, and you need different views and mindsets to do that. Having everybody the same is sort of a bit counterintuitive. That's a personal point from our team. Certainly, I'm not looking for a team full of technical nerds, if I can say that.
That's space for everyone. So that's great, and thank you so much for all of the information and for your time and staying with us today. It's been really helpful for me. It's been really exciting. I feel like I definitely want to apply for a job now. So yeah, if you are thinking of applying, again, this is the slide that you need. So make sure that you return to this. If you're writing your email, make sure you hit all of those bullet points when you're writing in, and also go back through the recording and just make sure you have all the qualities that we've talked about and that you're demonstrating like a real good awareness of the process. And then, yeah, definitely get in touch with the Royal Mail. And thank you so much for joining, everyone. Sorry if I didn't get to your question. As always, you can email them with more technical stuff if you want to. And check back on the events page for more events that are coming up as part of National Intern Week. And yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, Mike, and thank you, Alan, as well. And yeah, that is it for today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.